Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar called Hosting Provider Assessment. My name is Mathieu Leblanc, and I am the SherWeb Director for Strategic Partners. And with me today is Samuel Nadeau, SherWeb's IT Director for Infrastructure and Cloud Services. So once again, thank you all for taking your precious time to attend today's webinar. In this webinar, you're basically going to learn everything that is needed in order to build a performance infrastructure that offers the highest levels of security, reliability, and performance. So many of you listening in today are already SherWeb registered partners. So throughout the webinar, we're going to be providing you with information that will allow you to easily present SherWeb's own hosting environment to your customers as your own. And to assist you in this process, SherWeb has also created decks and white label documents that you can easily brand and present to your customers. So all you have to do to get your hands on these documents is contact your account executive at SherWeb. If you don't know who that is, just send a simple email to partner@sherweb.com and your request will be transferred to your respective account executive. So basically on that note, I'm going to hand things over to Samuel. Before I do so, I'd like to, though, thank you once again for joining and also thank all of our existing partners for your continuous support. Without you, SherWeb would never have been recognized as Microsoft's 2013 Hosting Partner of the Year winner and Hosting Partner of the Year finalist for 2015. So once again, thank you to all of you for your business and partnership. On that note, Samuel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mathieu. So on today's agenda, we will be looking at three critical criteria for any assessment of a potential cloud vendor. We'll cover the availability, performance, and security aspect. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them as we move forward, depending on volume. So let's start with availability. So on this slide, what we're showing is we're doing a translation between percentages and real hours of uptime and downtime. So everyone can really understand what does it mean to have a 99% or 99.999% uptime. So the 99.999 is commonly referred to as 5 nines. In our case, this is exactly the SLA that we're providing with all our services. So this really translates to just 5 minutes of downtime per year. You should always ask your potential vendor to give you a copy of their master service level agreement. You should double check the list of exclusion within that document in reference to their SLA. Some provider may offer a greater SLA but with a greater exclusion list. So it's really critical to do this review so you can compare real exclusion between providers. As for what to look for, as you can see, to have an infrastructure that can only offer 5 nines, infrastructure must be carefully built. Providers have to have tremendous experience and knowledge to clearly define their failure domain. And it's really critical in the assessment process to ask a lot of questions. And depending on the answer, you'll see if everything has been thought of. You can ask for Visio schema documentation of their infrastructure built. You'll be able to ask them, for example, what if this server breaks? What if this networking device breaks? What about the internet provider that I'm using to connect to those services? You can also ask questions as far as their data center uptime certification, power and everything else. And if they run out of power, how many days can they last? How much fuel do they have on site? What about the refueling process? This is where you'll be able to gauge really carefully if a provider is serious and attending those numbers. They'll be on the highest priority refueling list like we are. We have the exact same level as the Dorval Airport in our case. For example, to attain those numbers for us here at SherWeb, RHA solution starts with at least a tier 3 data center, so all of our data centers. For those of you who do not know what a tier 3 data center is, this is a classification done by the Uptime Institute to be able to compare data centers between them. Tier 3 entails fully redundant power with redundant UPS and cooling. In our case, this is what we have. We also have multiple internet providers coming from different meet me room and fully redundant data and compute path all the way down to the customer storage. So our failure domain has been really clearly been identified, and anything can fail in our path and we will still maintain those SLA numbers. Now let's take a look at performance. As it stands today, cloud computing has evolved greatly in the past few years to a point where cloud is just not for development and testing environment, but for full-on production and deployment. To be able to do this, experience and maturity of your vendor plays a very big role. For example, here at SherWeb, we're leveraging years and years of experience when hosting hundreds of thousands of Exchange mailboxes, and we've put all of this knowledge into our own public cloud offering. Some of the important metrics that you should be looking at are identified on our next slide. There you go. So for performance, there's multiple ways to benchmark a vendor, if we can say it this way. There's standard industry leading benchmark that you could use to compare solutions. My recommendation would be, in any cases, if you have enough knowledge of your workload, would be to create your own benchmark suite. So this way you cannot compare between vendors, but you can compare those metrics that are critical to you. There's other quick ways to identify, for example, how modern an infrastructure is by simply looking, for example, at the CPU in an infrastructure as a service offer. Modern CPU usually translate to a modern infrastructure where the provider has really recent equipment. So you know in advance that his infrastructure is really modern. Metrics, performance can be dictated by CPU, disk, memory. Internet latency can also play a big role. You will also hear terms by discussing with those vendors about oversubscription. Obviously, oversubscription is when you have you sell a CPU to multiple customers. Oversubscription ratio must be very, very low. Otherwise, you'll run into CPU contention, which is usually not so good and translate into poor performance. So be always careful, and obviously it's really easy to gain access to those cloud providers. So for a very minimal investment, you can usually benchmark, and there's plenty of trial availables that are free. So you can do your own investment. So use the trust but verify approach and do your own benchmark. So you do not just trust the marketing guys. Now let's look at security. Obviously, security is a very critical in any cloud deployment, and it needs to be looked at very carefully. Within that slide, we've highlighted some of the certifications and good practices that we're using as far as SherWeb. Obviously, those are known certification, and any serious cloud provider will offer them. So just the certification itself is a good place to start. But you should also ask questions and ask your vendors if they follow ITIL processes, if they have any good documentation, and you'll be able to clearly judge how mature and serious that provider is. You should also always think about your own certification. Moving some workload from your environment to the cloud may impact them, so that this should always be looked at as well. Finally, support is also, we've put it under security because it's also a very, very important part of any relationship with a cloud provider. It's paramount actually. So you should look into providers that have good support and closely monitor their customer satisfaction by either doing some survey or NP score. Some of you may not know what an NP score is, so I actually quickly grabbed the official description of an NP score on Wikipedia. NetP Score is a management tool that can be used to gauge the loyalty of a firm's customer. So in our case, here at SherWeb, we do monitor the NP Score. The NP Score is based on a direct question, simply how likely would you recommend our services to a friend or colleague? So it's a simple question that tells a lot to the actual vendor. The rating is from 1 to 10. 0 to 6 would be someone that would not promote SherWeb. 7 to 8 would be neutral. And 9 and 10 only would be promoter. So it's really, really tough to get good NP score. And it's a really good way to gauge the actual commitment of the vendor to a successful relationship. So here you have it, those three main criteria. Obviously, there's many more things to evaluate, but each of those could be explained in their own webinar. But I strongly suggest that you investigate each and every one of them, so you'll have more information to compare between vendors with this information. With that, I'm going to pass to Maj.
All right, thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you for this great overview on how to assess an infrastructure. I'd like to take the time to really highlight our partner benefits. To really talk about our partner program here at SherWeb. But before I start, I see a question coming in. What is the current NP score, Samuel? So can you please elaborate a bit before I start my part, maybe about our NP score and how much it is?
Currently, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think it's around 70 as it stands today.
70.
Yep.
Oh, and according to the market, that's a very good number, right?
I would say exceptional.
Exceptional. Yeah. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Thank you very much for your time. Please, everyone, keep your questions coming. Feel free to ask us as deep technical questions as you'd like about either our current infrastructure or how to assess other providers or providers in general, infrastructures and environments. By the time that you send us your requests, I'll quickly highlight all of our partner benefits, both to our current partners as well as everyone else on the call. So to quickly highlight a quick brief about SherWeb, we started in 1998. We're a company that's always been born in the cloud, so we've been a hosted provider ever since we started, and all of our services are dedicated to cloud solutions. We have more than 4,000 partners around the world and 25,000 client organizations that we hold their mailboxes and cloud services on our environment. Our staff consists of more than 200 employees, where 75 are certified in various Microsoft capacities. And as Mathieu mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, we're very proud to be the Microsoft World Hosting Partner of the Year for 2013, and we were the finalists this year for 2014, and the results were just announced in WPC. If you were attending, I'm sure you saw the announcements. So we're very proud of these two awards and recognitions. We've also been in the top 100 list of Deloitte's North American Technology Fast 500 companies, and we've had these awards for the last 4 consecutive years. We were the first to launch Exchange 2013, even before Microsoft launched it, simply because we were on the early adopters program, and we went to market with Exchange 2013 as the first in the market. Of course, as Sam highlighted, we are SOC 2 Type 2 certified, and we have 2 Tier 3 plus data centers, and both are in North America. So both of our data centers are located in Canada, in Quebec and Ontario. We're also having a data center that's going to be set up in the United States, and this is really one of the biggest differentiators that we have, because, for example, comparing our environments to other cloud leaders in the market like Microsoft and Google and these guys, they have data centers all over the world, and customers cannot specify or cannot choose their location. They can simply from their, if you take a look at the contracts, you'll see that you can specify your primary desired location, but it's very clear that the provider can choose at any point in time to either move your data to other data centers or simply create backups on data centers in different countries. With us, even though we will have data centers in the States and we have data centers in the US, all of our environments are in North America, and the customer will also be able to choose exactly where they want their data to be, even if we ever choose to expand to other countries. So knowing where the data resides is very important, and in the same time, of course, we white label our services so that you, our partners, can offer it as your own. And this is where I'd like to also highlight our different reseller models that you can always choose from, or you can always change from one to another. So if you started off as a co-branded reseller, you can at a point in time decide after some time, once you expanded, that you want to fully rebrand the services as your own. So you can always switch from one model to another. So basically, the different models that we offer here for partners are the 100% white labeled partner model, where it's all about your brand. You take all of our services, you offer it as your own, and since you handle the branding of the environment, we are there to support you in the backstage. So since you never reveal your partnership with SherWeb to your end customer, we are there to support you. So you support your end customer, you handle the billing aspect, and we are there 24/7 and all year round to offer you our support services as well as our free customer migration. So even when we migrate your end customers, of course, free of charge, we do it in the backstage, and whenever we need something from the customer, we ask you, such as, for example, changing the MX records, we ask you, of course, to do it. So not only do you get the service for free, but you can also bill your customers for these services. If, on the other hand, you don't want to fully handle support, you want to be the partner that is in charge of billing and handling the relationship while we directly support your end customer, then you can simply choose the co-branded model, where you simply present yourself as a SherWeb reseller. And so you handle the customer relationship, you handle the billing process, and we support your end customer directly and also handle the migrations directly with them. And finally, the last model is the advisor model, and this is simply the referral model. So if you want us to handle both the billing and the support and technical side of the process, then simply by referring customers to us, you get a very strong commission of 150% for the first month and 7% as you go on a monthly basis of the overall partner monthly cost. So that's definitely the strongest advisor referral program in the industry. And of course, you can always change from one model to the other. I see that we have some questions, so I'll pause from my side and maybe position them to you, Sam. I see a question coming asking, going back to your benchmarking, based on the numbers that we've seen, can we say that SherWeb is 5 times faster than Rackspace? Is that really true?
Depending on the benchmark, I would say yes. Obviously, there's different metrics that needs to be looked at, but we take performance very, very seriously here at SherWeb. And in our public cloud offering, every single thing has been thought of. It starts with the multiple internet connections that and we use multiple tier 1 providers, so we get good connection, stable and very low latency to the rest of the world. We also leverage best-in-class firewalls and load balancers from F5 and checkpoints. And once your data hit our compute, we bought the best and greatest Intel CPUs. We do not oversubscribe, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. And also a big challenge for any cloud provider is always disk I/O. Obviously, for those of you that runs a data center can relate very well. Disk has always been an issue in the past in a higher environment. In our case, we've decided to simply ban disks from our infrastructure as a service offering. So we are 100% using flash storage. So this is also the best performance that we can buy today. And we also leverage multiple storage array. So this way your data is distributed and fully redundant. So with this, we are totally confident that yes, we are 5 times as fast as Rackspace for those benchmarks.
That's a great positioning statement, and please keep them coming. I see other questions about the availability of the presentation, so I'd like to also say that yes, absolutely, the presentation will be sent to all the registrants and also a recording of the webinar. I see another question coming from Derek. All this speed, but why is the control panel sometimes slow and there's delays that we experience?
The control panel is currently being totally reworked, and everyone will have the experience of the new Cumulus platform really soon. The control panel has been evolving with the years at SherWeb. Obviously, we have, like I mentioned, hundreds of thousands of customers using that control panel, but this is definitely being looked at currently, and you'll be able to enjoy the very nice bump in speed coming to everyone very soon. We also have the final number of the NP score. I just got the information. It's 81 right now for the month of May.
Oh, perfect. And personally, my favorite feature of the new Cumulus portal is that there's no more please wait because it's loading thing. Like everything happens in the back end. Even when you provision organizations and just assign services, you can even just close your browser, and because it already happens in the back stage. So there really isn't any loading message that pauses the CP from working. So thanks for that comment, Derek, and please keep the questions going. I'll return back to my slide and highlight the enablement program. So after highlighting the different partner models and the different ways that you can build the relationship with SherWeb, once you start, we make sure that you have everything that you need to really get started. So we help you in building your go-to-market strategy, and we offer you all the tools to that you can use to start selling and deploying our products. So the first thing is that you get access to the partner toolbox, and in the partner toolbox you have all the different collaterals and resources to get started and build your account to using the control panel or the new control panel Cumulus. Then you have the training videos. So if you don't want to take the time to really dive into all of the collaterals that we offer, you can simply watch the 10-minute quick videos to really get all the essential information that you need. And then after that, you have all the sales and marketing content that you can fully rebrand as your own if you are going through, of course, or if you chose the white label model, or you can simply add your logo next to SherWeb's if you're using a co-branded model. So you get access to training tutorials. So they're not just videos that you play and watch, they really are interactive tutorials where you click through, and it has menus so that you can watch whenever you have the time to really watch the topics that you'd like to see. After that, we have battle cards, we have sales presentations that you can use, of course, to present the offering. We have product fact sheets, so you don't really need to worry about spending any resources on or costs in building your own marketing collaterals. Finally, of course, we have something that we know no other cloud provider or market leading cloud provider offers, which is on-demand free one-on-one trainings. So we know that our partners always state that this is one of the greatest features. If you are currently a partner that you still didn't use that, please do so whenever you like. You can always send us an email at partner@sherweb.com or partnertraining@sherweb.com, or simply when you're talking to your account manager, highlight that you'd like to start having your teams receive one-on-one trainings. So these one-on-one trainings are only for you according to your schedule and according to the topic that you want to discuss. So if you're having, for example, some questions about competing with Office 365 or competing with a certain cloud provider out there, or if you just want to know how the migration process works, or if you want to deep dive into our online backup solution and identify how to create certain complex backup jobs, you can simply ask us the question that you want, and we will set up a one hour training just for you. And of course, we have monthly webinars that we always hold on different sales or technical topics, such as the one that we're having right now. And I'd like to take this opportunity to really announce to everyone to participate with us in these webinars and in these activities. So if at any point in time you want to take the mic and you want to say something to the partner network, or you want to, for example, present a case study that we did together, or show how we won a certain opportunity, or simply talk about the technical side of our solutions and how you take our platform and offer it in a 1 + 1 = 3 type of way, so that the rest of the channel can benefit from your knowledge, then please reach out to us, and let's do co activities together throughout our channel. So of course we have a great partner network of 4,000 active partners around the world. I'm sure together we can always add more value. So simply to know what's next, if you are not currently one of our partners, of course, you can always go to our website at SherWeb.com and go to Partner with SherWeb to know all about our offerings, our services, our infrastructure, our support, and you can easily become a partner. Of course, it's absolutely free of charge, and it's as easy as just creating an account online. So once you create yourself an account, you will have full access into our control panels and our partner toolbox that gives you access into our collaterals and resources. Of course, you can always reach out to your account managers, or for any issues, or if you still don't know who your account manager is, please send us an email at any time at partner@sherweb.com. The whole partner network team receives that email. We will automatically either assign an account manager to your account, or your account manager will reach out to you, or you can of course call us with the number that is presented on the screen. Finally, I'd like to just take this last opportunity to tell everyone that we will be at CompTIA this year. Of course, CompTIA is taking ChannelCon is taking place in Phoenix on August 4th. So please feel free to stop by our booth. We have a lot of giveaways, a lot of cool stuff to offer, and any partner that comes to our booth, simply notify us, and we will allocate a free 1 month to all of our services just by stopping by our booth. So any partner that comes to our booth will get a 1 month for free for August for all the services that you have active with your customers. And of course, you can also win some iPad minis and a lot of other giveaways that we'll be announcing. And of course, it's always great to see you, so we can always set up meetings and discuss anything that you have in mind. To that point, I'd like to remind everyone to send us some questions. I don't see any more questions coming in. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes to get your input.
I don't think we have any more questions. At any rate, if you need any help in starting this discussion with a cloud provider, feel free to reach out to us. We'll definitely do our best to guide you through doing a proper assessment of us and of other vendors as well. Having guidelines and speaking a clear and defined language with those vendors will definitely help moving forward. So.
Great, thank you. I just see a quick question coming in asking how we differentiate ourselves against Office 365. So that's a great question, and since we're talking about infrastructures and our environment versus theirs, I'd like to answer that question by focusing more on the back-end side and not on the offering itself. So regarding the offering itself, of course, we're both Microsoft environments. We both offer SharePoint, Lync, and Exchange, of course. And when it comes to the products, just to quickly go through that part, then of course they're both more or less the same. Microsoft have simply re-logically assembled their plans in different ways than ours, whereas but in the end the core products are the same. There are some small differences, such as Microsoft attaches OneDrive storage space, whereas, for example, on our side we have an online backup tool. And also Microsoft attaches the Office plans to some of their packages, whereas for us we do the Office attach completely separately for now. So starting next in 2 months exactly, we will also give our partners the ability to attach their own version of Office, whether it's Pro Plus or Standard, so the one that they want. But all along we always advise our partners to do it separately, so you can always attach the right version of Office regardless of your choice of a cloud solution. But other than the actual products, because in the end of the day they're both more or less the same, when it comes to the actual environment, and with Microsoft, as you know, they offer an SLA of 99.9% SLA, and we offer the 5.9, so 99.999%. As Sam highlighted, this means that we offer an accepted downtime of 5 minutes each year, whereas with Microsoft it's an accepted downtime of 8 hours because it's 3 nines. So you can not have access to your emails to 8 hours in a row, and still that won't affect your SLA with Microsoft, whereas with us it's only 5 minutes. Other than that, the choice of the data center's location we believe is very important. This is why we see a lot of customers coming to us because our data is simply they know where their data is. So we guarantee that the data will reside in North America. It will never leave North America, and we will never have backups or copies in other countries around the world. Whereas with Microsoft, they can never guarantee that. So this sometimes is less of a security to our customers, to the customers. And finally, of course, there's the important point of the flexibility. So at Microsoft, of course, the way that they offer the service is through mostly it's through an EA agreement. So it's a 1-year commitment with cancellation fees that applied if customers choose to remove some of the services. And if they go with a monthly payment, it's simply a lot more expensive. Whereas with us, everything is monthly consumption based for our partners. So we simply bill you for the services that you've used after you've used them on a monthly basis, and we don't have yearly commitments for our partners, so that you can simply add and remove services as you want. And even though we offer plans and packages, they are simply logical ways of grouping our products together. You can always go a la carte and add the services that you want to add according to your customers' needs. So this is also another layer of flexibility that we offer that Microsoft cannot afford to, because they are set in fixed plans. So for example, if your customer wants email and data leak prevention, for example, they will have to only go with the E3 plan that costs $25 per month. Whereas with us, you can just take the standard plan, attach data leak prevention, and in the end of the day, offer the product to your customer with the margin for around $11, and it will be a lot, like more than half of what Microsoft would offer, and you'd still offer the customer exactly what they need without forcing them to have or to buy services that they don't want or didn't ask for. So we help you to become even more flexible by offering our services, and in the end of the day, the products are the same, and they're both based on the Microsoft environment. And we actually offer even more of the Microsoft environment, because we give you the choice of the 2010 or 2013 environment, whereas with Microsoft it's always the latest. So you can only purchase the 2013 Exchange, SharePoint, and Lync environments. So these are just some of where we differentiate ourselves against Office 365. If you have any other questions, please let us know. We're still here and we will be waiting for them. All right, we see another question coming in about online backup. So someone said that you stated that Microsoft offers OneDrive, whereas you differentiate yourself by offering an online backup solution. What are the features? So basically, our online backup solution is the only product that we offer, first of all, that is gray labeled. So all of the products that we offer, and this actually is another differentiator, is that they're all white labeled. So you can always take our products, fully rebrand them, and sell them as your own. Whereas with Microsoft Office 365, you have to position yourself as, of course, a Microsoft reseller, and you're limited and controlled with the margin. Whereas with us, all of our products are white labeled, so you can rebrand them all as your own, set your own price and your own margins. And it's only Skynox, which is a gray labeled service, which is our online backup tool. It doesn't say SherWeb anywhere, but it's just fully branded as Skynox, and it's a very strong online backup solution that complies with HIPAA, SOX, GLBA, and all of the regulatory requirements that customers would request, simply because the encryption of transferring the data during transfer and at rest as well on the data centers is through Blowfish bank grade encryption. And it's simply an online backup solution that helps you back up all of your workstations, your Exchange servers, your SharePoint environments, your SQL, your VMware, Hyper-V, and all these backup jobs are performed agentlessly. So you just need to install Skynox on one server, and you will be able to connect through the network or through Active Directory, through all the different environments, and through setup, through backup wizards, you simply connect and specify the backup jobs that you want. So it's really a very powerful backup tool that you can use also to backup on-prem. So you don't only need to create your backup jobs in the cloud. You can put them in both locally or in the cloud. And this is something, this is actually, a best practice that we advise because when you back up your environment in the cloud, of course, that's the highest level of protection because it's in a very secure data center. But in the same time, recovering your data can take a little bit of time. So it's always a best practice to always also have another copy next to you on-prem. And this is why we also allow you to use Skynox to create on-prem backup jobs. And another feature that is cool is that you have bandwidth and CPU control and throttling for your Skynox agent. So if you have limited connectivity, or if your internet speed is currently overutilized, or the CPU of your computer, then you can simply specify backup jobs to take a little bit more time and use less resources. And looking into the market, we see that the agentless part and the bandwidth control part are both very cool features that market-leading online backup solutions out there don't offer. So yeah, that's a very quick brief on Skynox. If you go on our SherWeb portal, you on the SherWeb site, you will be able to see also a quick video and go through all the features of Skynox. Right, I have a question from Brian saying, can I restore the full cloud server with the online backup solution? Sam, do you would you like to take this one?
Absolutely. The Skynox solution can restore a complete server and its application also within that server itself. A complete bare metal restore.
Oh, great. Perfect. Thank you, Brian, for that question. If you have more, please keep them coming. Oh, sorry, Bob. Bob just sent saying that there's a question in the Q&A. Bob's question is, do you offer the Office suite for install on clients' PCs like Office 365? Well, I can take this one. Well, for now, we do not offer, that's the Office standard license. So we don't offer it currently, but we always advise our partners to go to their distributor and attach the right version of Office to our offering. So they can take, for example, our standard plan and either attach a version of Office Pro Plus or Office Standard to their offering. So you always have the full flexibility to take our products and then attach the right version of Office according to your customer's needs. So if your customer just wants one-time payment and they want to own Office for life, then they can just purchase the Office Standard. If they want to purchase an Office Pro Plus license, then they can do so as well. Now, to facilitate this process, we will start to offer Office starting September. So that's the first time that I announced that, but we will, starting September, we will be able to integrate Office into our offering and you can just activate it from our side. But just for you to know, it is really exactly as if you contact your distributor and simply attach Office to our offering. Okay. All right, and there's another question from Bob as well. What is your actual uptime for each service for the past 36 months? So you say 99.999% have been. Have there been any outages lately? So Microsoft never hits their SLA of 99.9%.
Unfortunately, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but yes, we do hit our SLAs. Yes, we do have outages, but luckily for us, with our failure domain design, it never impacts production. So it will be false advertisement to tell everyone that our hardware never fails and that there's no problem. But with our design, ultimately the problem never affects production. So it's built to fail just like an airplane. And ultimately, this is how we match our and we reach our SLA numbers. And we would definitely feel comfortable in sharing all of this information with you by email.
Perfect, thank you. And we're sorry, Bob, that we didn't see the Q&A section. We were taking all the questions from the chat box, as you know, so please keep them coming if you have any more. All right, so Bob asked another question, Sam, saying, so never a production impacting outage?
That would be also false advertisement as well. I'm not aware of any cloud provider that has 100% uptime. This is why we define our SLAs. So we may have production impacting outages, but we're still going to be able to maintain our SLAs. And as you can review within our master civil contract agreement, there's measure in place if we ever miss one. But yeah, we have a pretty good track record in reaching those numbers month after month.
Perfect, thank you, Sam. All right, Bob, please let us know if you have more questions, and everyone else, please keep them coming. We still have exactly 7 minutes to go, so we're here waiting for any question that may arise until then. All right, so I see that we didn't get any more questions, so I will wrap up the webinar. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. We will be sending you the recording and the deck by tomorrow. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at partner@sherweb.com or contact, of course, your account manager at any time. And once again, I'd like to remind everyone that we'd be very glad to host webinars with you to deliver more sessions together to our partner network. And finally, of course, please remember to visit us at ChannelCon, visit our booth, and come see us during the event. Thank you very much for your time, and please stay in touch.